Okay, class, I wanted to give you a quick overview of one of Da Vinci's most famous paintings, and that is The Last Supper, which you are looking at right now. It might also be helpful to look at it in your textbook, which is on page 347. Da Vinci worked on this painting from 1495 to 1498, and many people consider it to be kind of the pivotal painting in the transition from the early Renaissance to the High Renaissance. And a lot of that has to do with the classical ideals that we're going to see as we look a little bit further into this work. Okay, so when you first look at this painting, you see a very active scene. There are 13 men, and this tells a story. It has to do with the Christian New Testament story of Jesus and his 12 disciples sharing a final dinner before Jesus was crucified. Okay? And in particular, it has to do with the verse from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 21, in which Jesus says, "One of you is about to betray me." And in this case, the betrayer was the disciple Judas, who gave Jesus' identity away for a profit. Okay, so some of you may be familiar with that story, some of you may not. That's just kind of the short of it. So you can see the disciples have just heard Jesus say, "One of you is about to betray me." How are they reacting? So you see some of them are dismayed, they're angry. Other disciples have their hands up gesturing, saying, "It can't be me, it has to be someone else." So if you think how you would feel in that position, you can see, you can understand how they are reacting. Let's talk a little bit about how this work is composed. One of the things that we've talked about in this class is perspective, specifically linear perspective. Do you see any examples of linear perspective in this painting? So if you look at the rectangles, they might be windows or a decorative feature on the walls of this room. They create two lines that recede back into the distance to those three windows in the very background. Can you see it? And so where do those lines converge in a vanishing point? So it would be directly above the head of Jesus. And so that kind of tells us his significance, and it points out that he's the most important figure in this work. If you look at the ceiling, you can also see that there are lines on the ceiling that likewise also converge back to that vanishing point. So all this creates a sense of depth. Who is the betrayer? That is kind of the other big question of this. Do you have any guesses as to who it might be? It can be kind of difficult to tell, but there are a few devices that Da Vinci uses to give it away to us. So the person who is the betrayer has his left hand on the table, which looks like it's reaching toward the bread, which is also reaching toward Jesus. So he is two people away from Jesus on Jesus's right. So if we were looking toward it, it's on our left. His face is in shadow, and his right hand is on the table clutching a money bag, and so this is Judas. The word left throughout history has had a negative connotation, and so that is also a symbol telling us that he is the one who would betray Jesus, because he's the only one with his left hand resting on the table, reaching toward him. Something else I want to point out quickly, and then we need to wrap up this work, is that Da Vinci uses a lot of mathematics to arrange the composition. So you see that there are three windows behind him, which would be symbolic of the Holy Trinity. So in Christianity, there is the idea of one God made of three beings. So the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So that would be emblematic of that. If you look at the restored version, which is in your Prezi, you'll also see that there are three large crests above the painting. In addition, Christ's body also forms a triangle, which again